What's up? What's up,
What's up, everybody? What's up,
out
everybody?
there today? Welcome to the Act Right Out Loud podcast.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Hey, y'all. I'm one of your hosts, Tanya.
And I am your other host, Jermaine. And we make up Act Right Out Loud.
Well, we make up Act Exact.
Act Exact Right. That's right. You're right.
Thank you for joining us for another great episode. We got a pretty good topic.
We do.
To talk about.
Got a good topic to talk about. I'm excited to dive into it. You ready?
Are you sure you're ready to dive into it?
It's like I'm nervous.
Yeah, you're a little nervous. It's okay.
No.
You know, before we get started on this episode, I would like to say something.
Okay.
I would like to say that this is the weekend before my birthday.
Oh, yes. Listen.
The month of June has made a turn. You know, we celebrated Atkins' birthday. We celebrated Father's Day. Now,
yes,
we get to celebrate my birthday.
We get to celebrate the Act Right and Atkins Act Right.
Come on, talk about it, sir. Talk about it, sir.
I'm excited. I got some good stuff for you, too.
Ooh.
Yeah, got some great
music
gifts.
to my ear.
Got some great gifts for you.
Ooh, I like gifts. Shoes.
We don't know. But enough about those.
Enough about those gifts.
But we are looking forward to celebrating.
Thank you.
We are looking forward to celebrating.
Thank
you. Your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna close this month out with a bang.
With a bang.
With a bang.
Shout out to us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know I mentioned this last week on our other podcast episode. If you have not watched it yet, we did a part 2 to Do You Have an Open Relationship? Go check that out. It's on YouTube. You know, even though we're doing the video on YouTube, the podcast is being streamed.
Yes.
You know, through Apple, Amazon, iHeart, Spotify.
Yep.
So if you're driving and you just want to listen, go ahead and check us out on those streams.
Right, absolutely. Especially, listen, if you're going out of town for the holidays, it's good. It's the conversations are
some good conversation,
y'all. Riding conversation.
It's some good conversation.
Yes.
It's gonna make for some good pillow talk.
Yeah, it sure is.
Good pillow talk.
Yes, it is.
But what I was getting ready to say was, I'm super proud of us, y'all, because we have been consistent.
Yes, we have.
And this is our 4th episode.
But you know how these people thinking that we start stuff and don't finish.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we had a podcast prior to this that we were not consistent with. And this podcast is different because we started at it. Hey, honesty is key, right? We just got through doing a whole segment on honesty. Check that out too, y'all.
Listen.
Marriage is more than a self.
It is.
Do you have an open relationship? Part 1 and 2. Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
No, hey.
You gotta attack that negative with positive, y'all, at all times.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we are consistent.
We are consistent. We do have things that may stop us from doing something that
clean it up.
I'm not gonna clean it up because I was saying what I was saying when I said what I said. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll take all of that, and I'll say, baby, you're absolutely right.
See?
You're absolutely
celebrate.
Right. You're absolutely right.
With me.
We have been consistent.
We have.
We have been intentional.
Yes. Great word.
Yeah, we've been intentional, and we are seeing the fruits of our labor.
Yes.
So I am happy.
And we are excited to do this. We're excited to set aside time so that we can join you guys in discussing great topics pertaining to relationship realities.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, it is, because not only is it beneficial for the listener, but it's also beneficial for us as well.
Yeah.
To just kind of bring you all into some of the conversations that we have so often, frequently conversations just about relationships and how to handle certain things that come up. And throughout the course of us knowing each other for 15 years, and then of course being married for 10 years, we sit back and we see these certain things play out, not just in our marriage, but then we're sitting back and we're seeing other things play out in other people's relationships and marriages. And it just all makes for some good conversation.
And not just conversation, for our wisdom to help those that are in need when it comes to their relationships.
Right.
Because these are things that you should adapt into your relationship and make them your own so that they can work for you.
Yes. Adapt them, use it. As they say, take the meat off the bones. Whatever you don't want to use, you don't have to. You definitely don't have to use.
I have never heard that before.
It was another way, take all the meat off the bone. Whatever you don't want off of it, you spit it back out. You got to, whatever. In other words,
I get the concept, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And moving on.
Right. I can't believe you never heard that before.
I haven't.
Really?
No.
You must have.
Are you saying it right?
I'm saying it somewhat right. And
take the meat off the bone.
I've said it before.
And whatever you don't like, spit it out.
It's just like when somebody brings you a plate of food, and there's only 2 things on that plate that you are going to actually eat, and you eat it. And what do you do with the rest? You throw it away. You don't use it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm saying that to say that for some people, they may subscribe to what we're saying. They may not.
Oh, okay.
Use it. Use
it. It'll be great for you.
Yeah.
Don't use it.
What you don't use, if it comes back and bites you, then go to AtkinsUpright.com and then get a consultation, and then we'll walk you through it.
If you need more help on it.
If you need more help, let us coach you through it. So
okay, let's move on.
All right. So what we got today?
So today we are talking about releasing what was so that you can enjoy what is.
I thought this particular episode, just the title alone was extremely powerful and much needed. It is absolutely, I won't say amazing. It is almost weird and crazy how so many people enter into relationships and marriages, and they have yet to really embrace the potential of that, that marriage, that union, the potential of that relationship, because they're still holding on to past things. And the first thing people will, hypothetically, the first thing or people will automatically think is that a person is holding on to someone physically and from the past. And it's not just about that.
Yeah. It's not just about wanting to be with a past, a person from your past.
Right.
It's about holding on to the traumas from that past, or
right.
holding on to the things of that past that's stopping you from moving forward.
Right. Because we have encountered couples who have come to us for coaching or counseling, not because one spouse stepped out or did something like that. No kind of infidelity at all. It was just simply that one person was struggling to just get over some things that have happened to them in the past, just like you brought up, and we'll talk a little bit about today in terms of releasing, past traumas and, so
because that is, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That is such a broad topic, right? We can't really do that in 30 minutes.
Right.
So we're going to try to identify, what this means to us with relationships.
Right.
And not so much as you moving on individually, but you moving on from past traumas from your previous relationships.
Right.
So that we can, I think it'll be good if we just kind of, zoomed in on that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Instead of trying to.
Let's do it.
Because it's so broad,
Right. Yeah. It is very broad. It is. But releasing what was to enjoy what is. So what happens is a lot of times we really rob ourselves of enjoying the present moment with the present person, with the person that we're presently with, if we are still hanging on to some past things that we definitely should have released before we came over into this new relationship. That whole notion of the best way to get over,
get over one is to get under another.
No, you're gonna mess around and you're gonna be in the same situation that you've been in before.
You're offering a temporary solution.
Yes.
To something that is long term.
Right. So you have
could be long term.
Yeah. But you have a lot of people who are dealing with past trauma from let me rephrase it. They're having an issue with releasing the traumas from past relationships so that they can enjoy this new one. And then there are these triggers. Things happen just based on the behavior of that individual. And a lot of times people have not really dealt with what they have gone through in the past because they may see something that the other person have no clue that the way I brush my teeth triggers you, the way I drive it triggers you. It just reminds you
of something that happened in your past.
Yes.
So that could be, so triggers are funny, right? Because, I mean, not funny, but triggers can go so far back to childhood.
Right.
Like a person can do something to trigger you from something that happened to you as a child.
Right.
Is that crazy or what?
Right.
But you know why that is, right?
Come on.
Because you have not resolved what that past issue or event did to you as, as you are right now, as it relates to the person you are presently.
Right.
So if you have not dealt with the issue, then of course you can still be triggered by it.
Right.
So the goal is to not be triggered.
Right.
The goal is to recognize it and to see it if it's a pattern in the new relationship. But you have to resolve the issue of it from the past.
Right. You do. And I think one of the things that we, like when we are speaking with couples, one of the first things that we, especially premarital, we really get couples to really go back and look at your lineage, and which we call the home of origin. Yeah. To really discover how, your spouse or your soon-to-be spouse was raised, what kind of home they were raised in, so that you guys can discuss this. Now, me and Tanya, we are very vocal in terms about how we both were brought up.
Yeah, different ways.
Yeah, different ways. She came from a single-parent home where she was the next to the oldest, and then eventually became the oldest, and so she had a lot more responsibilities as a older sibling. Where I was the youngest of four. Am I getting that right? Youngest of five. The youngest
out of kids your folks
out of five. Let me see, Scotty, Derek.
Yeah, he don't even know how many siblings.
Tanya.
I'm not your sibling.
Scotty, Derek, Sharonda, and
we
Donna.
are related.
Right.
Well, if we were related, this would be an issue.
Right. Yeah. Good. Stop it now. Right.
Stop it now, sir.
Right. So it was five of us, blended family, but I was the youngest. But I grew up in a home where both my mom and dad, they were in the home. So these were the kind of conversations that Tanya and I had. We had to have these conversations, and these weren't hard conversations. We just want to know
where you come from.
Where you come from. Where do you come from?
You can't know where you're going unless you know where you came from.
Unless you know where you came from.
And I can't know where you're gonna lead us if I don't know where your foundation is.
Right.
Right. What you gained from your home of origin.
Right. And a lot of times with that, in those home of origin situations, those family origins, within that past, some kind of trauma happened. Whether it was, what's the word I'm looking for? My mind is going blank on.
You're talking about a past trauma?
Yes.
Whether it was when you were a child?
From when you were a child,
or as an adult,
as a teenager, adult. I'm speaking specifically right now in terms of as a child.
Okay.
If you were touched by a family member,
whether there was abuse.
Yeah, abuse. All those different things. Okay. Whether I saw whether somebody grew up and they saw their mom and dad always fighting, just. All those different.
That's kind of what we touched on a little bit in episode 3, where we were talking about how you handle conflict because of
what you saw
as a child coming up from your parents.
All those different things can be triggers. It's just the prime example. If you know your mom raising her voice at you, if that was as a child and teenager, if that was a trigger for you, then I came in raising my voice at you. You know, but I wouldn't know that if we didn't talk
about it. Yeah, communication is important.
Right. So all of us have baggage coming into these relationships. When we marry each other with the mindset of whatever baggage you have, I'm gonna help you unpack it.
Right. And also what is important, in my opinion, I don't know why I started talking so slow. Did I slow down real bad?
You did.
I don't know. But what's important is to try to unpack as much of that as you can before the relationship. Sometimes, you know, like I said in episode 1, sometimes you need help and support while you unpack those things. But there are things that deal with your individuality that you need to focus on before getting into a relationship. A lot of people think that when they get in a relationship, you know, all those issues that they had, the past traumas are just going to go away. Yeah, they're going to resolve.
They're not going to come back up ever.
And then they'll find happiness as soon as they get into the relationship. But let me tell you, happiness is not found when you get into the relationship.
Come on.
That relationship is not going to be your happiness if you are not happy with yourself.
Right.
So happiness begins with you.
Right.
That is why I say it's important to go ahead and unpack some of that stuff, you know, and find your individuality so that you can be happy with yourself.
Yeah, because releasing what was
self-love is the best love.
That's what they say. Because releasing what was to enjoy what is.
Yeah.
It starts off with you first being honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself enough to know that, hey, the best thing for me to do before we really get into the seriousness of this relationship, let me just unpack a few things to you so that I won't rob you of your decision on whether or not if you want to take this journey and take this ride with me, so that we both can have an understanding. We both can have an understanding of what's going on. We both can have an understanding of this is not something that we want to always be dealing with in our future, but this is being brought up so that, you know, you can see that I am doing my best to release it.
Right.
So that I can be present when I need to be present.
Right.
Which in the case of marriage, you need to be present all the time.
Right.
You need to be present all the time.
If you don't deal with it, you will sabotage.
Right.
He's something you would do.
Yeah, no, it will deal with you.
It will deal with you, and it will put you in position to sabotage something that could be so great in your life.
Right.
Which is why deal with it. Deal with yourself first. And I know being in a relationship is a great thing. And when you find somebody that you feel is a great attribute to your life, but if you have not dealt with some deep issues that you have, you know, past traumas from a previous relationship that you have been struggling with for the last couple of years, then you need to seriously deal with that before you try to get in a relationship with someone else.
Yes.
Because you're only going to just spill over into the new relationship, and that's not healthy. That starts off with dysfunction.
Right. And I think the space where a lot of people, especially like with, you know, with our parents, with their generation, is the whole was that therapy piece.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, in most cases, and people don't want to admit this, some of the things that you've gone through in your past, if you find yourself still constantly thinking about those things, and I'm not saying, or we're not saying that you shouldn't be thinking about those things. Basically, what we're saying is we are saying you should, so you definitely should subscribe to therapy to deal with you before you bring you and your issues and your problems into the present with someone, especially if you have not told them made them aware of, you know, some situations that you're battling and dealing with from, you know, from your past, from your past. You know, I remember year two of our year two of our marriage. We dealt with something head on.
It wasn't year two. We hadn't even made it to year two.
We was going into year two. We just celebrated 1 year.
Yeah.
We just celebrated 1 year. And there were some things that I did not disclose to Tanya in terms of just past behaviors and what I grew up around. I gave her the G version, the rated PG version of some of the things that I had experienced. And that was because I was trying to save face, embarrassed, fearful that she may be like, "Oh, no, I'm out.
I'm good.
I ain't dealing with it." Now, what's crazy is that I took that route while she was, in most cases, was an open book to me in terms of everything that she had gone through. So that was a little rough because I didn't release, you know, that past,
those behaviors,
those triggers.
Yeah.
I didn't release it.
Yeah.
But like we just said, thankfully, you know, she stayed to help me unpack that.
Well, because honestly, you know, you were not the only person dealing with things from your past. Like, even though I felt like I was ready to be married again, there were still some emotions, you know, from that past that I was triggered by.
Right.
You know, and it had a lot to do with honesty. It had a lot to do with transparency, trust.
Yeah.
Oh, trust was like one of my biggest issues going into the marriage.
Yeah.
So you were not only unpacking your stuff. I was trying to unpack mine too.
Right. And I always, and y'all can say what you want to say, I always applaud us for not running away from those situations.
Oh,
and it wasn't like we didn't make that decision just because, you know, well, we're gonna stick it out because we're married. No, we made that decision because
divorce is real.
Right, it is real. And we wanted to not only be healthy for each other, we wanted to be healthy
for ourselves.
It's
different when you want to be a better person for you.
Yep.
You know, and you're not striving to be something for somebody else.
Yes.
Like, I love you and I want to be a great wife for you, but I want to be a better Tanya for me.
Right.
I want to wake up happy with who I am and not just happy that I have a marriage.
And and that's the reason why what you just said is so good, is because I'm not doing all these things in our marriage just for the purpose of pleasing you and keeping a smile on your face, but I'm doing it because I am embracing this, you know, this present moment, this precious gift that I have now, versus trying to hold on to all this other stuff that really just had me in a headspace of always being confused and frustrated and wasting energy. And now I have the present opportunity to not only share the good moments, but also go into battle with certain situations, you know, that I have to deal with by myself.
Right.
You know, but if I'm not an open book and I'm sitting up here trying to deal with stuff by myself, it says a lot about how I feel about our marriage and, you know, the relationship.
Yeah.
Like, you don't trust me enough to
let me help you with that, or to let me support you, because sometimes you don't need my help.
Right.
You just need me to be there for you.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
But if you can't accept that type of help or that type of support because of, you know, from your past relationship, you got done so bad because when you thought they were helping you, they were really hurting you. If that trauma is traveling over into this new relationship, then it's looking like failure.
Right. Right.
You know, it's looking like failure. So I just really want us to realize that we have to be happy with ourselves.
Right. We
can be happy with someone else.
We have to be happy with ourselves, and we have to make sure that in the releasing process, the part of that releasing process is you sharing that with the person that you with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, is one of the things that let's just talk about triggers just for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So early in our engagement, marriage, something like that, there will be things that I would unknowingly do, and Tanya would just be like, I didn't like it then.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happened in my previous marriage, and I don't like it now. So she told me it's a trigger for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what did I do? Did I just be like, well, that ain't me. I ain't gonna do it. Blah, blah. I didn't go into that. I just tried to make sure that I changed my behavior for the betterment of our marriage.
Right. And it wasn't me asking you to do something that would change who you are as a person.
Right.
It's me asking you to do something that would change how comfortable I am in certain situations. And why would that be a negative? Right? That would be a positive, because to me that says that you understand why that's a trigger,
mm-hmm.
because I'm going to explain it to you, right? I'm going to communicate why that's a trigger, and I'm going to explain how that makes me feel. I'm even going to tell you what happened in that past event to get me to that place.
Right.
And so I feel like with me giving you that much information and us talking about it, we can just really deviate from a lot of conflicts.
Yes.
Because we have talked about this and we are working together.
Well, we talked about it and we're working together.
Did I say that word right? Deviate?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay.
We're talking about it and we're working together, but at the same time, you are showing me the seriousness of why you feel this way. So this is not something to where when you did this, I didn't like the way you did that, and then me being just as honest as I can. I asked the question, well, why don't you like that?
Yeah,
because I just don't like it.
And see, to me, that right there, you have to learn the difference between a pet peeve and a trigger.
Right.
A pet peeve is something that just irritates you, right? A trigger is something that puts you in a place that you've been in before, and there's not a great outcome from it.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Right, and you have to make sure, do your best not to act out on the trigger. Don't act out on it, but respond to it. Respond to it by making sure that you express yourself to your spouse in terms of why this is a trigger.
Right.
Versus me just looking like, what in the world is going on? Why are you acting like this? When it's something that I never knew was a trigger to you.
Yeah, because you acting out means that, situations to where you just get quiet.
Right.
The whole mood just changes.
Right. Everything in the room changes.
Everything just changes.
And then here I go, I'm just still acting like everything is good.
Because you don't even know what the problem is.
I have no clue what's going on.
So how can I expect you to be different in those type of situations? Why you gonna do that little? Did y'all hear that little chuckle?
That chuckle because I'm laughing at what you're saying.
Oh, okay. I felt like something was behind it.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm laughing at what you're saying. That's the only reason why you stop. I'm laughing at what you're saying because I'm agreeing. Because how can you know what's triggering for me if I don't tell you? But then I just get quiet. I'm slamming doors.
Just acting out, passive aggressive, all the way from the front of the house to the back.
You want to tell me what's going on?
I'm like, bro, what's happening right now? What are we doing?
Well, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. You been holding on to this for 2 weeks.
I ain't like when you had said.
When you had said when, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. Y'all remember that whole last episode when we talked about lip? Say it with your lip.
Right. Immediately. Lovingly, immediately.
Don't wait 2 weeks for something that has triggered you at least. Yes. At the very least.
Yes.
Give your partner.
Ooh, we gonna put some oil on you.
Oh God, help me, Jesus. Give your partner the common courtesy of explaining why that triggered you and why that made you feel the way that you felt.
Yes, because if you're still in a space to where you're not trying to let your spouse or your significant other know about these certain things that trigger you, then you definitely don't need to be in a marriage, and you definitely.
Well, I wouldn't say you don't need to be in a marriage. Baby, like
I'm just listening. I'm just hey y'all. I'm just listening.
Well, okay, so we're sometimes we don't know that things are triggering us until it happens. Right?
Okay. Yes.
And in that first year of our marriage, some would say that we didn't need to be married.
Okay.
And now we've done the work to make ourselves better and to make our marriage better. You know, now that they see us now, they'll be like, oh, y'all should have got married a long time ago. Y'all always should have been together type situations. But they don't know what happened in the beginning.
They don't.
They don't know the work that we put into making our marriage what it is today.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily say you don't need to be married if you don't know how to communicate your triggers.
Well, let me rephrase that then.
Okay.
I won't necessarily say that you don't need to be married. When I made that statement, I'm making that statement based on if you have it figured out in your mind that there are some things that you're just not going to open up to in terms of if it's because you live in a lie. Because you live in a lie. By and by.
What song is it?
You, me, and she. What we're gonna do? You heard the song before?
I have not.
Yeah, you heard it before.
Is it a blues song?
No, it's not a blues song.
You, me,
and
she. This is totally off the subject.
You, me, and he, or either you, me, or she. The people know.
You sure it's not a blues song? That sounds like a blues song.
That's not a blues song.
No, One Monkey Don't Stop No Show.
No, it's not. It's not. It is not a blues song. I promise you that.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up after this.
But you have to if you're holding on to that, like if there's truly a place or space in your life and your heart where you like that happened to me, I'm locking it up, throwing away the key. Nobody else is gonna ever be able to get in there. But then. Okay, if you have that, if you make that, okay, that's fine. But then you meet somebody and you start dating them and it's getting serious. And they just so happen to do something in their regular everyday routine that triggers you to where that you have to go back. You ain't got to look for the key. You know where it is. Unlock that. And now you're looking at it and you're feeling a certain type of way, but you have yet to tell
them about it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be hard for you to really embrace the present reality and the happiness that you have, which is, and then also, I think it's sad to see people, one person in a relationship who is really going hard for it, and then there's another person who can't. They have a desire to go hard for the relationship, but they can't
because they waiting on the ball to drop.
It's like it's too good to be true.
Yeah,
it's like, she gonna do something. He gonna do something.
It's almost like putting yourself in a position to say that you don't deserve happiness based on what you experienced,
and it wasn't your fault.
And it wasn't even your fault. That person damaged your self-esteem. You know, your awareness of who you are as a person to the point to where you don't even feel like you deserve this new person that's come into your life that is going to be great for you.
Right.
But you keep pushing them away because you're holding on to trauma. You're holding on to experiences, past experiences, when you should be celebrating and enjoying new experiences.
Right.
So it's a rocky road to deal with your past. But I promise dealing with your past makes for a greater future.
Right.
And I know that sounds like a tagline, but that is so true.
That's very true.
Like, I am not going to allow what happened in my first marriage to determine how successful my new marriage
Right.
And because I made that decision, I'm a better person because I knew by making that decision, I had to make sure that I was good with me.
So a lot of times people fail to really do the self-work.
Yeah.
The self-work, getting yourself ready and prepared so that when you do go into that relationship or you do go into that engagement and marriage, that you can really be present and embrace all of that happiness that comes along with this new, with the new relationship, the new life, just the newness of the whole situation.
Right.
And so we encourage you guys to make sure, man, embrace happiness.
Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Embrace it.
Because you deserve it. I don't care what you went through in your past. You deserve to be happy. No matter what happened in past relationships, if you found someone new that makes you feel like a totally different person, like you are worthy, then embrace it. Embrace it. But do some work. Do some self-work.
Yeah, do the work. Do the self-work. Do the work. Do the self-work. Embrace it. And watch this. When you embrace it, not only will you start to see and feel the happiness, but then everybody that's connected to you, they will see the happiness. They will see this new you. And they'll tell you, they'll be like, people be like, you got to glow. You glowing. And I'm not just glowing because, of the tangible things that I'm getting.
Yeah. We don't want to have a materialistic mindset, but the glow is there because this person made me realize that I'm worthy of this type of happiness.
The word glow. You got the glow. Yeah, glow.
But you know what I just thought? Because at the end of the day,
the day go in.
The day go in. You know what I thought about?
What's that?
Soul glow.
Just let your soul glow.
Just let your soul glow.
Let it shine.
Just let it
shine.
Just let it shine.
Listen, y'all, it's been fun again.
We enjoyed it. Hey. Release what was so that you can enjoy what is. You did not get anything else from this podcast episode. We want you to create a better you before you try to create a better relationship with others.
Well, I think we can end on that.
We can.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Today's episode, who is it sponsored by?
Today's episode is sponsored by Atkins Act
Right. Head over to Atkins.com right now where you can you can get everything. You can subscribe to our email. You can subscribe to our socials. Make sure that you are subscribing to the Act Right Out Loud YouTube channel. Also, we also have books. Maintenance is cheaper than repair.
Yes.
The journey between yes and I do.
We have apparel.
We have merch as well. T-shirts.
Check it out. Go to the website, AtkinsActRight.com.
AtkinsActRight.com.
That is our commercial.
That was good.
It's good. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Thanks for the early birthday wishes. We love the support that we're getting for our podcast.
Yes.
It has been so overwhelmingly good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Make sure you turn on your notifications too.
Yeah.
For whichever.
Every episode. Yeah. I thought you was about to jump in. Every episode is going to be on a Saturday, weekly.
At 12 noon.
Noonish.
Yeah. It'll be at 12 noon. And if you turn on your notifications, then
it'll let you know when we are live.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
And on that note,
we out, y'all.
Y'all have a good Saturday. Be blessed.